Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. The good Dr. Jordan Peterson recently appeared on Joe Rogan and started a firestorm with the internet over there. Jordan went viral recently over on X because he said something that lots of people on the right, the far right, the fringes as it were, or the ones that used to consider themselves leftists that now have transitioned to where the power seems to be at the moment, the bad faith actors we call them, the ones that Jordan Peterson tried to explain are actually more psychopaths, more narcissists. And you know what? You can actually tell who are the real narcissists, the ones that are full of pride. And it's usually the ones that get so defensive and start attacking when someone actually calls them out on their actual legitimate bullshit. Like that's exactly what Jordan Peterson was doing. Same with Douglas Murray. But people that are, as Jordan considers them to be, psychopaths in nature and also espousing narcissism traits. The thing is, you can always tell a narcissist because they will never question whether or not they are, in fact, a narcissist. In fact, they're more likely to defend themselves and vehemently defend themselves, never to admit that they're wrong. Have you ever seen a narcissist admit that they're wrong? I don't think so. And what Jordan is doing is actually really clever. And it's so important that people actually listen to what he is saying. So many people have been going after Jordan Peterson saying that he's not relevant anymore. What is he even talking about? Well, if he's not relevant, people, why are you getting your panties in a knot, so to speak? Why are you getting so annoyed? He's a doctor of psychology, for goodness sake. The man knows exactly what he's talking about because he's seen this stuff happen for a long time. He saw it on the left. He called it out on the left. But we've got the same thing, the same problems happening on the right. And people are not looking at it for what it really is. They're missing the point. Just the same thing with what happened with Douglas Murray recently on Joe Rogan. They missed the point. And you know why they missed the point? Is because they're too far up their own backsides. They're too far and they're like, oh, you know what it is? It's a small little group of people known as the Jews. It's their fault. The Jews are coming after us. We must go after them. It's a psyop, for goodness sake. They're trying to divide the right from Trump's base. What's going on? Who are these people that are saying these ludicrous things? I'm not a psychopath. How can I possibly be a psychopath? And honestly, when you get called a psychopath, Jordan's not saying that anyone in particular is a psychopath, but he's alluding to people that we already know on X especially that say crazy, ludicrous shit online. And Jordan is pointing that out and saying you've got to be very careful and very mindful of those people because they are bad faith individuals. And saying the term and linking the term Christ is king to political extremism, which is actually the case, right? When you have this group of individuals on the internet that are merely using that term for their own means and their own gain, rather than to actually promote Christ, which is not what they're really doing, you can always tell it's very clever. They're very good at manipulating the internet, manipulating people. And if you're not smart enough to see it, you can get lost as well. And the amount of people that I've seen go after Jordan, they're not saying anything at all that is actually worth hearing. They're just going after him as a person and then making excuses. A narcissist makes excuses, never takes ownership, never takes personal responsibility. I have not seen Candace Owens take any personal responsibility at all for any mistakes she's ever made. Have you? That leads me to believe what's going on. I'm always wondering, could I possibly be a narcissist? Could I possibly be a little bit too proud and too egotistical? And every single time I think that I'm being proud and I'm being egotistical, guess what happens? I am humbled. I am humbled to my knees, my friends. And that is, in fact, a good thing. We should be humbled and we should have God every single day. We should be asking him, God, teach me, humble me, keep me in your care, first and foremost. And secondly, give me wisdom. That's all I want. I don't want to be known as someone that knows everything. at all. I am not above anyone. I'm a regular human being. And I am saying that these bad faith individuals, they are acting in a particular manner that is not good. It's proud. It's egotistical. They think they know everything. And when they get called out by the likes of Jordan Peterson, they freak the hell out. So have a watch of Jordan Peterson recently. He went on Hannity and again blew up the internet, especially when he was saying Christ is king. Because one thing that these supposed Christians, let's go Christian by them saying it, not by actual deed or behavior or anything else, they get defensive. And it's very, very clever, isn't it? Very clever, manipulating even the term Christ is king. Doesn't mean you can't say it. It's how you say it. Intention matters all the time. Have a watch.
Well, I think the most important thing to do first is to draw a distinction between the political and the psychological and not to collapse them together. So imagine this. Imagine that there's a group of individuals, about 4% of the population, who have a set of personality characteristics that have been described as dark tetrad. So they're Machiavellian. They use their language to manipulate. They're narcissistic. They want unearned social status and reputation. They're psychopathic, which makes them free of empathy and parasitical and predatory. And they're sadistic. So they take positive delight in the unnecessary suffering of others. Now, those people also use false cries of victimization, let's say, to manipulate, and they're entitled. They seek vengeance when it's unwarranted, and they protest loudly and make very public cries for reparations that would be self-serving. Okay, now the way those people operate is they look for what patterns of belief form groups that they can infiltrate and then capitalize on. And that happens on the right. We did a report, the same group, on the use of Christ as king as a manipulative strategy by bad actors, hypothetically on the right. And this report identified the same sort of people on the left. But it's not primarily political. They're wolves in sheep's clothing who look for where there's power and value and then adopt those beliefs as a surface camouflage so that they can elevate their moral status. Now, and this has become worse in recent years as far as I'm concerned, because the evolved strategies that we have for dealing with these psychopathic types, psychopathic narcissistic types, don't work well online. And so the psychopaths can get away with their terrible manipulations online, and they can find like-minded people, and they can escape from any reputational consequences. And so there's always been psychopaths. Those are the Pharisees, for example, that Christ points to, the religious pretenders. Those are the people who use God's name in vain and claim moral virtue and even religious devotion. Well, all they're doing is feathering their own nests and furthering their own narrow interests. And the web, social media, anonymity enables them to organize and also hides them much more effectively. And this is a problem in religious organizations, it's a problem in political organizations, and it pathologizes the whole culture. You know, most people, 80% of Americans agree on virtually everything. And then there's these fringe people, and they're not political. They're psychopathological narcissists who cloak themselves in political guise. And we all have to learn to distinguish between the political and the psychological. We're not good at it.
Wolves in sheep's clothing. So they adopt the beliefs of whatever they're trying to manipulate or whatever they're trying to control for their own nefarious moral belief system, or however they want to engage with the world per se, by taking over that one thing. And that's what's happened in the right. You have a lot of these wolves in sheep's clothing that are coming in. We embrace them, we accept them, and we go, you're amazing. I like what you're saying, but they've got some other nefarious means. And we're starting to see that all come out now against the Jews, talking about how Churchill was the worst or the main villain of World War II, trying to say that Hitler wasn't exactly all bad. You have, and these are people on the right, or they claim to be on the right. And then when you call them out and you say, you are this, you've got psychopathic tendencies at the moment, they freak out because no one wants to be called a psychopath, right? Oh, how dare you? You're actually calling out their behavior. Their behavior is indicative of psychopathic traits, of narcissistic traits. All narcissism is pride, masquerading around in a fancy word. Narcissism is just pride, okay? It's a fancy word to describe pride, because the moment, you can always tell, the moment someone's pride gets hurt or wounded, as Jordan Peterson did, they come after you every single time. Here's what Candace Owens shared the other night, because Jordan Peterson essentially called her out on her, you know what, resharing Jordan Peterson's report regarding how the proclamation of Christ as King is for narcissistic psychopaths. Oh, wait, no, this is actually a report on people who said no to the COVID vax. They're just copying and pasting the verbiage to try and control us again. That's exactly what you think this is about. Jordan Peterson is apparently trying to control Candace Owens. Jordan Peterson is trying to control all these people that are bad faith actors, these wolves in sheep's clothing per se, or as James Lindsay calls it, the woke right. You know, like, you can say that all you want. You can call it the woke right, and really they're just following the same behavior as the woke left, the same crazy behavior. And Jordan said it, like, this kind of behavior is on the left and on the right, and you've got to be smart enough to actually see it. And Britta goes, nobody has said it's wrong to proclaim Christ as King. Nobody said that at all. No one is saying that. It's your intention, how you're using it. Are you using it for political means, for political gain, for your own nefarious ideological madness, which is exactly what lots of people are doing. And then they'll band together. It's so, so good. They'll band together in unison and say that they're going after Christ as King. They're going after Christ. No, they're not. They're going after you for using Christ as King in the wrong way. That's what we're doing. But the moment you say that, you're apparently working for Israel. You're working for this psyop. You're a, whatever they want to use. What is that terminology for, there's this other neocon. You're a neocon, apparently. Whatever the hell that means. Really, you're just a regular guy like myself that sees this and goes, this is actually crazy. You're no different from the left. Absolutely not. In fact, you're just the same. You're just the same. And you can't even see it, which leads me to believe that, like, you've gone mad. You can use all these fancy terms all you like, but really you've gone mad. You've gone so far away from what the Bible actually says, it's kind of sad. And you have lots of people on Candace's post going, Candace is irresponsible, unhinged, and single-minded. This is precisely what Douglas Murray speaks about. Christ is King is a valid phrase, but Candace Owens wields it as a Fox Christian from the river to the sea. It's a dog whistle. They're using it like that. They're using it in the wrong way. Context is king. She is weaponizing language to divide. I agree. Context is definitely king. And lots of people were saying these people on the right, per se, they're actually showing signs, not naming names as Jordan Peterson did, but he certainly did allude to who many people actually know who he's talking about. But there's lots of accounts that have in their bio, Jesus is King, you know, hate all these people and whatever else. There's loads of those sorts of people out there. Jordan Peterson, some people on the right exhibit psychopathic behavior. Psychopaths on the right get mad. He's offended the psychopaths. Can't do that, people. And again, Jordan Peterson is tagged in a Candace Owens post when she's trying to compare what he's saying to a Soviet psychiatry study. In the USSR, psychiatry was turned into a tool of repression. Soviet psychiatry was cut from the world psychiatry and developed its own highly institutional and biological orientated course. Right. So she's saying this is exactly what Jordan Peterson is doing. James Lindsay goes, woke right psychopaths mad as you know what? Mad as F. She's mad. She's not happy that she was called out. Candace Owens also goes, this is indistinguishable from the time when the COVID experts produced baseless reports claiming that those who refused to get the vaccine or stay at home were extremists who suffered from psychopathic tendencies. Trust the experts, guys. Anyway, here we go. Christ is king. Why do you need to say that at the end? She says it pretty much all the time. And again, this is totally different from COVID times. They want to make it the same thing, but it's totally different. The whole trust the expert thing. You've got one thing that's science, and you've got the other thing that is actually not science. It's more human behavior. So it's interesting to me how they're always trying to compare something to trust the experts during COVID. This is no different to during COVID, but really it is different. Really, we're pointing out bad behavior and words and language that you've said and used that you can't even see yourself. It's dangerous. And this is actual history too that we need to look at, that you are confusing. And also, this happens to be political too. Not always, but it is. As Jordan so rightfully so said. I know there's some little similarities, okay? I get it. But this is totally different. We're not doing what the people did during COVID. We're not saying you can't say these things. Unlike COVID times, you weren't allowed to say jack. Unlike COVID times, you needed to get the jab. Otherwise, whatever, your life's ruined. What we're saying now is you've got to be very, very careful. And again, this is a very tricky subject because they will just try and deflect all the time. It's not good. So I'm glad that Jordan Peterson is out there calling it out for what it really is. I'm glad that Douglas Murray is also doing the same thing. But they need better examples because really the woke left, they took charge in that and they can't actually see what they're doing right now is exactly the same. Anyway, that's enough from me, but you guys take care, you be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.